Alright guys, and welcome to the stream. Andy says, hey Dusty. Not Dusty, of course. We are News Geek. We do crypto and worldly news. But welcome guys to another day. It has been quite crazy today. Today's battle has been really intense, specifically on the outskirts of Kiev. Really, Kiev is what's taking a huge hit right now. What has happened in the last little bit is Russia warns against offering airfield to Ukraine. They're basically saying that if any country offers its airfield to Ukraine for attacks on Russia, may be considered having entered the conflict directly. And that's the idea. They really have destroyed, Russia has destroyed basically all in majority, 90% of all the airways. So really there isn't any places for their jets to launch from. So there is a few breaking news, and Putin now blames Ukraine for failed citizens' evacuation from Metropole. Why is that? This is because I think using the information that we received in the past few days and the discussions, basically Putin wants to make the civilians leave and then go in full force and carpet bomb the entire place. But what he doesn't want is he doesn't want to actually go in and have some civilian casualties. So he did warn, and he did tell the Ukrainian president to evacuate the people in Mariupol because Russia wants to carpet bomb it. And this is what we got. Of course, the ceasefire lasted only for a little bit. They did a discussion. The ceasefire lasted for a little bit, and this was because the Russian side was saying that Ukraine was not letting civilians evacuate Metropole. And then Ukraine was saying that basically any civilian that would leave Metropole would be shot at by Russian troops. And so the ceasefire broke, and now Russia's basically warning that, if the ceasefire breaks, and if Metropole is still packed with civilians and Ukraine is not letting them leave, then they're really going to invade it, and they don't care. They're going to still carpet bomb, and there's going to be serious casualties as of that. So it is getting quite intense, guys. Things are taking a more intense and serious turn. There's been already a bunch of confirmed reports of multiple civilians killed as of this war. As of now, it's 759 civilians, so quite a big chunk of people, sadly. There's been, of course, multiple sounds of shelling and explosions heard on the outskirts now of Kyiv. Really, Kyiv is the hotspot right now, the outskirts of Kyiv. But back into Metropole, which is supposed to be evacuated again, this is the second time that this has happened. A second attempt to evacuate 200,000 civilians from, Metropole. And of course, it's completely failed, and they weren't able to do so. And again, this is where things really start to take a serious turn. Putin has also announced that Russia will halt military operations only if Ukraine stops fighting. This is, what we've been talking about. Russia and Putin has given them two options. Russia has said that if, interesting. Russia has said loud and clear that there's two options. Number one is Ukraine surrenders, and basically this war is done. Russia takes over Ukraine, it's done, whatever Russia wants happens. Or the other side, and this is the worst side again, and not the worst side is in worse for civilians, is the Russian resistance the Ukrainian resistance continues. That causes Russia to get mad and really start carpet bombing all of Ukraine. And that's what the president of Russia has stated and threatened. He said that Ukrainian statehood is all at risk because of the Ukrainian resistance, so they should back down, or else the entire statehood of Ukraine and the entire future of Ukraine is on their conscience. What does this mean? That means he plans to bombard the entire Ukrainian country, literally obliterate it, and I think really their target is Kiev as of now. And that's going to cause Ukraine to basically be wiped off the map in terms of infrastructure, because they know that, again, they can't do guerrilla warfare because it's not their spot. So the only way for them to really take it over completely and for the long term is to literally wipe out the country and just leave it wiped out like that. And again, the worst part about that would be that the casualties, civilian casualties that would result out of that would be devastating. But yeah, guys, make sure you do hit the like button. It definitely helps me out. Make sure you hit the share this to your friends and family. And of course, if you haven't already and you want to buy us a cup of coffee, make sure you do that by the super chat button. But we did get, once again, guys, a bit of breaking news here. We just received, again, the president of Ukraine says there is heavy shelling on civilians. Again, this is where really things start to take a serious turn. We've also gotten reports that the IAEA alarmed over Russians' take of the nuclear plant. Russia has officially taken the largest nuclear plant in all of Europe that was based in Ukraine, and it's now been taken over by Russian troops. There's been plenty of battles going on right now on the outskirts of Kiev, really intensifying now. Russian and Ukrainian forces are locked into a long-range shelling war along the outskirts of capital Kyiv, putting towns including Homstal and Arturin in the line of fire. Several buildings in Homstal were on fire after being hit by airstrikes. Both Russian and Ukrainian forces claim to control the area. In the nearby town of Irpin, residents left their homes after buildings were severely damaged. Civilians tried to get to the remains of the bridge leading to Kyiv over the Arturin River, which Ukrainian forces blew up last week to slow the Russian advance. And this is what we were talking about when we were talking about, Russia's logistical issues. EX8 is Russia's Build Back Better program. Urban warfare's ugly, says EX8. But that's what we're talking about, guys. When we're talking about the huge convoy that's basically heading to Kyiv, the 60-mile long convoy. Why was it stalled? And this is why. It's all the logistical issues that, all the logistical issues really that caused it to do that and to have those stalls. And you have, bridges that you have to completely rebuild. That definitely takes some time. So again, this is what we're talking about in terms of that aspect of things. Again, there is, consistent lookouts that we have, consistent sources that we really are paying attention to make sure we get news that is reliable. And so again, we'll consistently pay attention to those aspects, and I think these are one of the most important aspects, actually. And then also, is Putin gonna ceasefire over a Russian invasion? But guys, alright guys, make sure you guys do go ahead and hit that like button. It definitely helps us out. And of course, if you can, and want to support us out, buy a cup of coffee, feel free to drop in a super chat. But make sure you share this to your friends and family. Let them know what's going on in Ukraine and in Kyiv. Hit the like button as well. Something that simple really helps us out. So lets people know what's going on. Angelo says, so by him destroying that country, he's saying, if I can't have Ukraine, nobody can. Basically what he's trying to do is he's trying to have a buffer zone. In his opinion right now, if Ukraine is not going to get taken over and actually be held, then he might as well make it into a buffer zone where it's lots of miles of empty land, where it's clearly monitored so that if anything moves, they have sensors that track it. And that's what he's really trying to do. He's giving them two options: either we keep the country stable, or if I'm not going to be able to conquer it, then we might as well just make it into a buffer zone, which means we completely destroy and demolish everything. So now you just have hundreds and thousands of miles of empty land that is closely monitored, and that way if we sense anything, again, they can see and check it out, and they can send their military. So I think that's what his plans are right now. PHAX says that if they concentrate on the water and Emiri sectors, they could force a surrender without obliterating the cities. That's if they want to be able to use this territory. Again, they will never be able to really take the country by making, the government surrender. Because what will end up happening is it will automatically shift to guerrilla warfare. Guaranteed. What's going to happen is it's going to shift to guerrilla warfare. And they don't want guerrilla warfare. Again, they're taking a bigger hit. For them, it's safer to just, be on the outskirts of Kiev than to really even be in Kiev because of guerrilla warfare. And so they want a surrender, but a surrender that the people agree with, so that it doesn't flip to guerrilla warfare. Let me give you an example. What they might be thinking is, maybe we go ahead, we change the government, people are happy, and that's it, and then Russia leaves. But if that doesn't happen, and people are unhappy because they know that this was not a democratically put government, then it's going to switch to guerrilla warfare. And that means definitely a ginormous loss for Russia. And so to them, again, these are all like theoretical and predictions here, but to them, it may be better to just keep it the way it is, and maybe we just, level the playing field. And maybe that just becomes the new buffer zone for Russian forces. And so maybe that's how they see it. EX8 says, EX8, as Russia, Ukraine has beautiful real estate around the lake/sea, sad to see it get waste. But yeah, this is it's getting quite intense now. Again, some breaking news here. Lots of battles are now currently going on the outskirts of Kyiv, kind of bringing back the idea that really Russia's close to capturing Kyiv and the entirety of Ukraine. So we are closely monitoring that aspect of things. Guys, make sure you do hit the like button. It boosts this on the YouTube algorithm. And if you can as well, hit that share button, share this to your friends and family, let them know exactly what's going on in Ukraine, in Kyiv, and around the globe. In addition to this, if you want to support the channel, feel free to drop in a super chat, but make sure you do hit the like button and share. That's the most important thing. It lets people know exactly what's going on in Ukraine and in Kyiv. Again, this is a closely monitored situation right now that we are really looking at. We are looking at Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, streaming to you guys live. Really watching as things, settle in and things, get serious again. Just recently, we had some breaking news of lots of rocket fire and battles going on the outskirts of Kiev. Guys, this is what we were saying when, the fighting is getting closer and closer and closer to Kiev. This is the battle. These are the battles that we're talking about. When you're starting to see, the Air Force is under attack. The Russian Air Force consistently in Kiev airspace, consistently on a consistent basis. Was Zelensky voted or placed into power? So when we spoke to the Russian individual 2 days ago, he mentioned that he was put in democratically. They did an election and he won. But guys, as you can hear loud and clear, sirens ringing in the capital of Ukraine. Kyiv under attack. Again, make sure you do hit the like button, but this is serious. So that's why we ask everybody, hit the like button. Let's boost some YouTube algorithm and let people know what's going on in the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv. And share this to your friends and family, guys. Again, breaking news, Kyiv under attack. Multiple air raid sirens now, live and clear. Again, this is something that we've been discussing for the past while when we're talking about battle literally raging outside of the capital of Ukraine. We got reports earlier that breaking news, of course, battles, and we mean shelling, consistent shelling on the outskirts of Kyiv, really trying to hit targets in Kyiv, and again on the very outskirts, trying to destroy the Ukrainian resistance. And again, you guys can hear this loud, and as it happens, Russian forces just bombarding and going into Ukrainian airspace in Kyiv, in the capital of Ukraine. Again, you guys can hear it. This is loud, and we do hear some shelling in the background as well. And this also comes at a time where Putin, the president of Russia, threatens the statehood of Ukraine, saying that it will be on the resistance's conscience. Anybody fighting Russian forces will have the future of the Ukrainian statehood at risk, and it will be on their conscience, threatening basically to completely obliterate and flatten out Ukraine if the resistance continues, if the Ukrainian resistance still pushes through. Again, you guys hear it loud and clear. Live air raid sirens blaring in the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv. And this comes again as we got breaking news that multiple battles have opened fire on the Ukrainian capital. And if you listen closely, you'll be able to hear plenty of gunfire right now. But this is where things really start taking a serious turn. And this is where, again, you're going to see Russia come through and start carpet bombing any city to surrender. We got those sources by U.S. Officials. There's also been sources that have said, U.S. sources, again, U.S. officials that have said, listen, Russia isn't even using, 80% or 50% or even 20% of their really modernized military capability. A lot of their modernized forces, the real forces that can absolutely destroy places in days, are not used yet. And a lot of this is because they don't want to go in, they don't want to destroy Ukraine unless they feel like they are forced to. And making and what that means is that they believe they're forced to if the Ukrainian resistance continues. If the Ukrainian resistance really just says, okay, you know what, we surrender. If Zelensky comes out and says, I surrender, that's fine, Russia take Ukraine, then you'll see, these tanks, a lot of them are anyways outdated. So, whether they get hit or not, Russia doesn't lose anything. And this is why they're really just putting them out there. This is not Russian troop forces. Russia is not really attacking with its whole might. If Russia wanted to, again, there is people and U.S. official sources that have said they could literally destroy and wipe out all of Ukraine if they wanted to. But at this point, again, we have seen that Russia has threatened to do so multiple times now, and Russia now is really getting to a point where they feel like they are forced to. They feel like the Ukrainian resistance is not going to give up, and that is only going to force them to go ahead and put up a real battle, which means they are forced to then obliterate and flatten out Kiev. And again, this is the threat they made earlier when they said the entire statehood of Ukraine is at risk because of the Ukrainian force. And so it is getting, to a really intense moment right now, especially as we heard sirens blaring earlier. And of course, we got sources that told us that there are breaking news that battles are going right now outside of the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv, and that it is only intensifying as of now. So make sure you guys hit the like button and share this. Let everybody know what's going on. Share this to your friends and family. Do that right now. And if you want to support the stream as well, a super chat would be gladly appreciated. Maybe buy me a cup of coffee. But this is live, once again, live to you guys from the capital of Ukraine, as we see multiple cities, and more specifically Kiev, attacked severely. Again, battles are just consistently hitting inside Kiev airspace, inside, inside and outside of Kiev land. Cosby says, for days you have said they've been closing in on Kiev. There's nothing. Same quiet city. Not really. Again, it is not the same quiet city. It's not. The only thing that has changed from now and before is Russia intensifying. And again, we understand, and this is, again, it's not a bad thing. We want relative quiet. But there is a meaning behind the relative quiet. The relative quiet that is right now, that's happening right now, is because there's a storm brewing after this relative quiet. This is not for no reason. Russia right now wants people to evacuate Kyiv without difficulty. They've clearly left them an opening on the south side of the Kyiv border. They've surrounded all of Kyiv, blocked off the north side, opened up the south side, closely monitored by Russian troops and Russian Air Force. Nothing's allowed to go in and out. But they're allowing civilians to leave, and they want civilians to leave because they want a carpet bomb. And so they are giving them this quiet period to tell people, listen, this is your chance, leave before we really take a more serious turn. But we've also seen consistent shelling and bombardments of this Russian city of Kyiv. So again, it's quiet as of now, but there is a storm brewing. Angel Devils, I have a question. If Putin does decide to use his nuke, who is he going to use? Who is he going to use it? Going to nuke? I don't know. At this point, nobody knows really who he's going to nuke. He might decide to try and... Again, it'd be quite intense to see what would really happen. Like, let me give you an example. If Ukraine right now puts an insane resistance, and, Russia decides... we're going to nuke Ukraine. We're going to nuke Kyiv because of the resistance. Then what happens? U.S. nuked, in World War II, they nuked Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. What did really the world do? Not much. And the same thing could be, again, it'd just be interesting to see really what would happen if, Russia was to nuke. Are the world going to just watch and stare and get scared? Or is there really going to be, the end of the world where, now that for example, if a country gets nuked, everybody else starts nuking. But this would be something that could result in the end of the world, and most likely will, if a nuke were to come out anyways. A lot of the chances are that if Russia nukes, then nobody's going to, decide that everybody's going to think to mind that if we let Russia nuke, then everybody else is going to nuke. So you're going to start to have, NATO and the European and Western countries start nuking Russia. And then that's going to cause Russia to nuke. And then all of a sudden you're going to have some random country like, and a random country come out and start nuking as well. And that's how you turn into an all-out global nuke war. Menk says, yeah, I think Russia's tactics of terror are to evacuate everybody because in partisan warfare in cities they have no chance. But that's what we're saying, right? They have no chance in guerrilla warfare or like city warfare, really. Again, they don't know the land. Ukrainians do know the land. And so their goal is to evacuate because they really want to just flatline it as of now. To just obliterate everything. And again, if they feel like that's their only choice, they will do it. But to them, it's two options. Either we take the government out in the current government and replace it with our own government, or if that doesn't work, then we are forced to obliterate it and really change it and make it into rubble. Again, there is a bit of a lag spike right now, so... Oh, there we go, back, okay. Ready to Snap says, why would they want to obliterate then they are stuck with rebuilding? They said, why would they want to obliterate and then they're stuck with rebuilding? And that doesn't make much sense. Again, that's the idea. If they want to go ahead and really keep it as a country that has infrastructure, then they're not going to obliterate it. Then they're just going to replace the government. But what happens if at this point they aren't able to? For example, Kyiv, Ukrainian resistance stays, and again they want to take over the country. What do they plan on doing next? Then, like Putin said in one of his statements, they're just going to flat it out and leave it the way it is, flat, with basically, the whole place like a buffer zone. So you have empty land that is closely monitored, and that's it. That's how they keep it. And maybe they take over parts of it and just conjoin them into Russia, and then they just, the rest of it is just empty land that has no purpose except to be closely monitored so that if anything enters, Russia knows. Thank you so much, Thomas Gomez. Appreciate it. But that is what it's looking like, really, is a buffer zone that is going to consistently be monitored. And again, that is if, let's make that clear, that is if Putin believes that Ukraine has no hope anymore and that he won't be able to take it unless he does that. Again, he does not want urban warfare. He does not want guerrilla warfare. That is why he's threatening with that. But again, this is something that's closely monitored. Once again, guys, we do have some breaking news for all of you. Battles going on the outskirts of Kiev as of now. We also just heard right now the air raid sirens go up and again be heard because of this. We've also heard fighter jets are now trying to strike several buildings in Kiev and on the towns on the very border of Kiev. So things are severely intensifying. In a nearby city of Kiev, we've seen residents flee their home after buildings were severely damaged. Cities and civilians tried to get the remains of the building to Kiev. Again, like we spoke, there is a building that was blown up by Ukrainian forces that basically borders Kiev and the rest of the cities, and that has been blown up. So, as you guys know, what's happening right now is severe shelling of those of the Ukrainian forces as Russian troops prepare to rebuild those bridges and begin to rebuild those bridges. Those bridges are essential to reaching Kiev. There is no way else to reach Kiev except through those bridges. And so their goal is to rebuild those bridges, but they definitely want to right now take the forces that are still resisting down, and that's why you're seeing consistent shelling, consistent bombardments, and every little while they do try and bring a plane in to the Kiev airspace, and this is to kind of put into place the aspect of trying to maybe hit some of their air defense systems that are in Kiev as the convoy prepares to arrive. So it is an intense time again for the residents of Kiev, for the Ukrainians, for the global world as a whole. But make sure you guys hit the like button as well and subscribe. And if you listen closely, you'll hear bombardments. I just heard one right now.
thank you for joining the stream, guys. You're getting live images from the capital of Ukraine, Kiev, on a bit of a quiet night. And although it may seem quiet right now, in the images in the live stream that you're seeing, there is quite a bit of battles ongoing right now on the outskirts of the city. The city has been surrounded right now from nearly all directions by Russian troops. There's still a bit of an opening on the south, but that will likely not last too long. Over the next couple of days, you can expect the Russian reinforcing troops to close off the south, and then we will likely see a besieged Kiev. But as far as things sit tonight, we are seeing a bit of a quiet, a tense quiet, shall I say, on this Sunday night. Now, like I said a little while ago, there is a bit of an advancement from the Russian troops that we're hearing. Let's just make sure everything is working here. From the Russian troops that we're hearing, so keep your eyes open.
So, I'm good. Is the audio good? Can you hear me okay? Okay, great. So you guys are getting some live images from the Convoy of Ukraine, Kiev, again on this evening on Sunday, as we see a bigger approachment of Russian forces on the outskirts of the capital. I think what it's looking like more nearly inevitable is that the city of Kiev is going to get besieged by Russian forces. There continues to be a bit of an opening through the south, and that is the primary source of everything basically that's coming into Kiev. But as additional Russian reinforcements and troops come in, you're likely to see a closure of that breathing space for the people of Kiev. So it's a bit of a rough situation right now, but there is absolutely more to come in the couple of days to come. I just gave you a thumbs up now. Well, thank you for giving the stream a thumbs up. We appreciate it. But like I said, guys, it is a bit of a tense night, and as we approach the late hours of the night, you're likely to see more intensity in the situation in Kiev, the capital of Ukraine. There have been, through various streams, if you've been here before, we do tend to see more airstrikes towards the later hours of the night and more of the sirens. So that's what we expect tonight as well. Now, what happens over the next couple of days is yet to be seen, but I think we're looking at severe bombardment of the city of Kiev. Unfortunately, it seems like that is the strategy that the Russian forces have been taking. They took that strategy when they entered the city of Kirkovik, and they still continue to bombard the vast majority of that city. They're using the burnt ground sort of mentality. So we will see if that will be the case in Kiev. And again, it sounds like that will be the case. If you guys have not yet clicked the like button, please do that. It helps the stream, helps spread the message, and we're doing our part in giving you those images. You do your part in spreading those images. Robert says, thank you for providing access to these live streams. This will help tell the truth with no spin. Absolutely, and that is our goal, in giving you, being freelancers, we give you the image as it sits. And, sometimes maybe somebody will come on the chat and have an opinion that is not the same as ours. not the same in my opinion, not the same as your opinion, and that's part of it, right? Getting the full opinion. Right? The other day we had a person that was Russian come up, and he brought up a point, and he spoke on the stream, and sort of the view of Russians on what is happening on the ground right now. So maybe it's an uncomfortable opinion for some people, but it is an opinion that we need to hear in order to be fair in making a judgment. And I think the people that suffer the most are the civilians on every side of a war. Right? You have civilians that really have nothing to do and may not care about politics or who's in charge and what's happening politically, but they are the ones that suffer the most. And we're seeing the civilians of Kiev going out and fighting these battles on the ground against the Russian soldiers, and they're doing it to. If you ask them, they're doing it to protect their homes. They're not doing it just to protect the leadership within Ukraine or anything else. They want to protect their families. They want to protect their kids. They want to protect their home. So it's a tough situation, I'm sure, for the people of Ukraine, for the people of Kiev, and it's a tough situation for the world to see what's going on and kind of feel like their hands are tied and there's not much that they can do other than just watch. Noodle says, if you view both sides, I think, as an issue, no one will ever find a middle to agree on. And that's the thing. I mean, the international community and the world is meant to be, the providers of that middle ground. But unfortunately, you can't really be a judge without power, right? So that's kind of the situation in the world right now. There we have judges that may provide for a fair decision, but they have no power to enforce that fair decision. So it's essentially useless. I mean, you can imagine a city with all these amazing rules and laws that prevent crime and so on, but there's no police force, so it's useless, right? Again, guys, do your part in sharing the stream. Please share it with your friends and family on your Twitters and Facebooks and all that good stuff. Our Twitter is Crypto Geek News on Twitter. You'll find that there. Follow us if you haven't already. That would be very nice. But yeah, I'm a bit of a quiet night today in the capital. Not much has changed over the last couple of days, other than a bit of advancement on the Russian front towards the capital. But still, the south remains open, and I don't want to say under the control of the Ukrainian troops, but it sounds like it remains open, and that is where access to the city of Kiev continues to be open, and that's where they're getting their fuel and food and ammunition and such. So, guys, I'm still here. I'm going to step aside for a second. I'll keep the stream running. I'll get back to you guys if there's any news, any major updates. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and I'll come back and give you the answers as best as I can answer. All right, everybody. Thank you for being in the stream. For those of you that are still here, again, you're seeing live images from the capital of Ukraine, Kiev, on this Sunday night, as we await to see the progression of this war. It is looking tougher and tougher for the people of Kiev as the days pass by. It is looking more likely than not that the city of Kiev is going to be besieged over the coming couple of days. It's unfortunate, but that is the mentality and the strategy that Russia has been taking for the vast majority of their offensives against the major cities they've attacked prior, including Kirkovik. Now, there were reports yesterday of some losses on the Russian side. Again, the numbers are not definitive. I mean, we're hearing 10,000 Russian soldiers killed so far in this war. The Russian side are saying closer to 1,000, but there are definitely some casualties on the Russian side. We've seen, I believe, a total of 2 planes that were reportedly shot down yesterday. Again, no confirmation of definitive. We were seeing all these videos come out in various news reports, but again, nothing is definitive at this time. Can you hear me? Okay, I think now it's working. Can you guys hear me okay? Is the audio better now? Okay, I think now we're getting sound. So you guys are getting live images from the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv, on Sunday morning for me, evening for the people of Kyiv and the people of Ukraine. It's a tough Sunday night. I'm sure as the city of Kyiv begins to get besieged by the Russian forces. So that is the latest that you guys are hearing in terms of the city of Kyiv. The city of Kyiv has already been besieged right now with some bombardments in the city, but Kiev is in that process of being besieged. There's still an entrance to the south where the vast majority of supplies are coming into the capital. But that is going to be closed off likely in the coming hours as the Russian forces begin their full-on offensive against the capital. So tough situation for the people of Ukraine, tough situation for the people of Kyiv, and tough situation absolutely for the people of Kiev. All right, so I would love to get into a discussion with you guys if you are interested, if anybody has any questions. But in terms of what is happening on the ground right now, it is 2100, which is about 9 p.m. Kiev time, or Ukraine time, if you want to say it that way. Right now, when the curfew is imposed, has been imposed for the last hour or so. MJW says, good evening, glad to hear your voice. Lower right screen, someone's sending Morse code. Look like help. What do you see? Lower right screen. Where did I see that? Okay. Oh, I see that light flashing, eh? I'm just wondering if the light that's flashing at the bottom right corner there is it repetition? Is this repeating? I think it is, though. I think it is repeating. Oh, no. I'm not really an expert in Morse code, but you're right, the light at the bottom right screen there is I see a light flashing on and off, and it's not repetitive. It's not the same thing over and over again. Interesting catch. Good job. Good catch, MJW. Yeah, I see it. I see it now. It's in the window. It looks like one of the windows. Yeah. MJW, towards the top of the building. Deliberate, not same. Yeah, it's not the same. Yeah, I thought it was at the beginning, but then I paid close attention and it isn't the same. And very interesting. Ready to snap is now keeping an eye on what you explained there, MMJW. It's really interesting the streams, how things go. I mean, yeah, it's weird. Some days it's like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. We reach 5,000, 6,000 people live, and then some days you have quiet days like today. I wonder if that signals that people have kind of become accustomed to what is going on in Ukraine now, and they're just kind of sliding by it. It's not as interesting as it was at the beginning of the war. Because at the beginning there was a lot of attention, and everybody was kind of keeping an eye on what was happening on the ground, but it doesn't seem to be as big of an attention these days. And I think it's normal humanity and nature of humans is, we start to get used to things. You guys are seeing live images from the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv, as it becomes nearly surrounded by Russian troops, and we await to see the progression of this war and advancement by Russian forces towards the capital. I have an interesting video that I watched a little while ago of reporters trying to enter Kyiv, and they were shot at. Like they all had gun wounds to the reporters by the Ukrainian side. And the reports were that the Ukrainian army has had so many infiltrations by Russian troops under so many different names, whether it's civilians or media, that they have zero trust right now for anyone trying to enter the capital. And it was insane the amount of gunfire that was shot at these reporters. But they actually ended up jumping from the car down into a warehouse where they got support and kind of communication with the press, and they got evacuated out. But really tough situation for the people of Kiev, knowing that at any moment you could be infiltrated, and you don't know who's going to infiltrate you. I mean, Russian troops are using all kinds of people. A little while before, they were using what seemed like they had soldiers dressed up as if they were Ukrainian soldiers attempting to get into the capital. Now, after passing through, I believe it was 2 checkpoints that they had passed through, and then they were caught. But it is a really tough situation for the people of Kiev, and at some point it seems like it's not worth the risk, and maybe some people on the front lines are worth they may think it's worth the civilian casualties. But yeah, it was really sad to see reporters being shot at, and this is kind of what the situation has gotten to. It's because it's so bad that no one has any trust for anyone. I mean, you're seeing young people too in the capital in Kiev carry arms and weaponry and stuff, in an attempt to save their city. But really, that brings out a whole slew of other problems, right? And I wonder if the capital, Ukraine as a whole, is going to be the same after this ends. Whether Russia takes over Ukraine or they don't, or they retreat. But now the Ukrainians, the amount of weaponry on the streets is insane, and getting control of that is going to be tough, I imagine. You guys are seeing live images from the capital of the Ukraine, Kyiv, as the night deepens, and as we hear Russian forces are encircling the city of Kyiv as we speak. There's still a bit of an opening in the south of the city where ammunition and food and the vast majority of supplies are coming in, while Russian troops are on their way to try and close that. It does seem that Russia and the leadership is trying to cut off Kyiv from the world and probably from the rest of Ukraine to try and begin besieging the city. Now, what advantage that will bring to the end goal, we are yet to see, and likely after besieging the city. When they besiege the city, you're likely to see some hard bombardments. MMJW says, when will you vacate your position? When will you vacate your position? You could be viewed as a journalist. You mean the cameras, like the live cameras? So I don't think there's specific targeting of journalists. I just really think that they are, if there is a risk, then they're willing to sacrifice whoever it is. And I think that's really the situation. It says the interview with the Russian retired military may not be enough to argue your freedom. You're talking about the interview we had with over Discord the other day. I'm not gonna lie, that was a very interesting interview. Getting a completely different perspective. And I'm sure not everything is accurate, but you still get to hear the thoughts of someone, from a different position. Really interesting. Live cameras. JW says live cameras, they may not like that. Well, I don't think it matters what anybody likes nowadays, and I think it's perhaps a good thing, I think, for everybody, that what is happening on the ground is being seen in its an unchanged manner. It's rare to see that these days, right? Everything you're seeing has been altered or changed in a way or another. I mean, you hear about these bombardments, you see these fights, You see these fights and battles, and you destroy tanks and all this stuff. And we think that is the situation at every part, in every part of this war. But obviously, when you look at live cameras, you see that it's not all just that. There is a bit of a quiet, there is a bit of a lull, and then there are airstrikes, and there are there are sirens and planes and gunfights and such. But it isn't all that, like what we're seeing on the media, traditional media. MMJ though says, yeah, he was. Interesting propaganda. Can you hear me? Okay, good. I think we're working now. All right, guys, back at it. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Again, you guys are seeing the live images from the capital of Ukraine, Kiev, on this Sunday night. And a bit of a quiet night so far, but it's expected. Let's hope all nights are like this up to this point. News Geek, I'm really glad you are still okay. Keep it that way, okay? I'll check back in. Bye all. Take care, MMJW. Good luck to you. Thank you for joining. All of you that are joining new, please click that like button. It really helps us out. It spreads the message, gets people to know what is going on the ground. And, we try to provide you with the latest updates and live images from the capital of Ukraine. So, Kiev, so do your part in spreading this image that we're bringing forth to you, with your friends and family and those closest to you on Twitter and Facebook, so all that good stuff. Right now, it's sitting at 21:41, which is close to 10 p.m. Kiev time. And a bit of a quiet tonight, not as much activity, but you guys are seeing the streets are barely any movement, nearly no movement on this tense Sunday night. All right, so the capital right now is pretty much besieged. There is a bit of an opening in the south, and that's where the vast majority of the supplies are coming in from. Now, the Russian forces, the Russian army is in the process of closing off the south there, but there's a bit of a battle ongoing there. Now, the vast majority of the hard bombardments right now are happening in Kharkiv, second largest city, and on the outskirts of Kiev. A bit of a quiet day today in the live stream. I'm not used to this. I'm not used to this, guys. I'm used to a lot of discussions in the chat and lots of reading, but it doesn't seem to be the case today. There's somebody with a flashlight there. What's going on? Okay, there maybe there's no somebody with a flashlight. It looks like they're looking on something on the ground there. You seeing what I'm seeing in the top left corner? I don't think he's the only one. There's somebody else as well. Or is it that dark and just the camera's showing it right? Breaking news, guys. Breaking news. There's a guy with a flashlight walking the streets of Kiev. Breaking news alert. Somebody is walking around Kiev with a flashlight. I'm seeing it's first here. The news has just been released to us here. We're seeing it live on camera. Somebody in the capital, Kiev, is walking around with what appears to be an enlightenment piece of equipment there. And it's a piece of equipment that appears to provide light. Could be using it to try and guide a missile. Oh, the Ukrainians have received some new equipment, guys. New set of equipment from NATO and from the global community. New set of supplies sent to Ukraine has just been received from the international community to the capital of Ukraine. Some really heavy equipment in the form of flashlights and batteries. Again, I'm not used to this quiet, guys. I'm not used to this. I'm used to NATO. I was still MMJW said I was still on. My God, how can I possibly leave now? There's a flashlight and now it's off. Noodle says NATO grade eye burner. Yeah, Noodles, this is some serious equipment that the Russians that the Ukrainians have received. I mean, just by one flash, they can blind the Russian army, and this is used as a deterrent and sort of part of the air defense system by the Ukrainian military. So, although NATO was not able to provide they want a closure of the Russian airspace, of the Ukrainian airspace, they weren't able to do that. They were able to provide them with the equipment necessary to protect their own airspace. There's a car, guys. Car that just parked. No one's walking out of the car. It's big. Who is inside that vehicle? Is it Russian, part of the Russian military that is inside that vehicle that just parked? And it's now been parked for a couple of seconds with no one walking out. Okay, could it be Russian intelligence? Could it be Ukrainian intelligence? Could it be European intelligence? Could it be American intelligence? Could it be Canadian intelligence? Could it be French intelligence? Could it be Poland's intelligence? Could it be Bosnia's intelligence? Could it be Australian intelligence? It could be. Could it be a mix of all these intelligence groups? It could be. But this vehicle that just parked in the left corner, I think it's suspicious. Maybe we need to tell the guy in the flashlight to flash into that vehicle. He needs to flash in that vehicle to discover, to blind all these special intelligence groups. Is the Russian military, is that convoy hiding inside this vehicle? There's a flashlight under the car. You guys see that? Oh, that's just the reflection of the light. Is the Russian convoy in the vehicle? That's, oh my God. No wonder they we haven't seen them in a while. No news about them. They're hiding in a vehicle. So breaking news, the Russian convoy has reached the center of the capital. If this is true news that they're hiding in the vehicle. Alright guys, again, for those of you that are joining new, if you've not yet clicked the like button, it really helps the stream. And he's in the vehicle, not willingly. Ooh, that is... So, there's reports by MMJW that someone with a flashlight has been kidnapped inside this vehicle you see on the left corner. It's an unconfirmed report. Do you have anything else to report, MMJ? It appears you have accurate, you're an accurate source of news. Oh, is that enough? That vehicle looked like it slowed down. It's a converted Ukraine fast reaction force. Is how to check the your flashing curve, right? Alright guys, we're getting live images from the capital of Ukraine, Kiev, on this Sunday night. I think I should have way more subscribers and views. I really think I do. I should. MJ, there was a car that saw the truck there and did a U-turn. Is that for real? I mean, not to be so far off. It could be. Like, there's a curfew right now imposed in the capital until 8 in the morning, so... How many subscribers should I have, guys? Should I be at 1 million? I don't think so. Maybe not yet. Somewhere around there. Patriot patrols continue. Yes, they do. So the capital right now is under curfew. So, and they are under curfew for until 8 in the morning. So no one's allowed to, standard civilians allowed to walk or drive in these streets. So, is that car? Somebody? Oh, no, I made a turn. Somebody? No, that's just a lie. I thought somebody was coming now. It is great. Yeah, I cannot complain, Noodles. I cannot complain about 11,000. 11,000 is, I mean, it took a while, but we're here. I don't think it'll make much of a difference on the ground. I mean, this war is going to continue, no matter what. I don't think there's really much that can be done to stop this war, honestly, other than for someone to win. Likely, the Russians are going to want to win. Otherwise, if they don't see what they perceive as a win, I think this war will continue regardless of what happens. Okay, now we're seeing a lot more cars. Am I hearing something? Maybe not. But they could, you know. If at any point you guys would rather just kind of watch the videos, watch the live stream, the live footage, and me stay quiet, just let me know. I can be annoying at times, I imagine. You know, hearing the same voice over and over again can be annoying at times. So, just let me know. But you're getting live images from the capital of Ukraine, Kiev, right now, and where it is about 10 p.m. And you know, it has been relatively quiet today, so that is a good thing for the people of Kiev. At least maybe they can sleep tonight. Well, that's nice of you, Noodles, to promote this channel. I appreciate that very much. Very highly appreciate it. MMJ says, you are not annoying. Cut and paste that into like the top there. Once we have more people in the stream, I don't think now it'll do much. There's like 23 people in the chat in the stream. I'm pretty sure they're all subscribed. And I'm sure they all like the video. We have 33 likes, so that's ain't too bad. I moderate for Ellen Hunter. You do? Alien Hunter. Let's see who Alien Hunter. I've never, I don't recall that channel. Let's see. Oh, nice, 17K. That's cool. So maybe I'll put you on as a moderator if you want. Later today. I'll do it later today, though. I can't go on now. What is Alien Hunter? I assume it's somebody that hunts aliens. That's just a wild shot in the dark. Oh. So it isn't someone that hunts aliens. Guys, 2 people now in the street in the left corner. One of them walking without a flashlight. This is nuts. Insane action in the capital, guys. Insane action. He's walking off camera. He doesn't want to be seen on camera. He did not even look in that vehicle. Very disappointing. Guys are getting live images from the capital of Ukraine, Kiev, as we approach the middle part of the night. A lot of action has been ongoing for the last couple of days, including airstrikes on the capital, but the vast majority of the airstrikes have been targeting the Ukrainian second largest city in Ukraine, Kirkovik. As you recall, there was a recent strike of Europe's largest nuclear site. That is on near the outskirts of Kiev, and the Russian forces have made it clear that their advancement into Kiev is unavailable, and that has been made clear as well by the Ukrainian side as well, and that was made by even the Ukrainian president himself. So you're looking at likely advancement of Russian forces in the coming days. There was a recent interview by the president of Ukraine, and it was mentioned in there that there is a need to speak to Putin because Putin is the only one that can end this war, and this is just confirmation by the Ukrainian leadership that they're not able to maintain the control and resistance that they have so far put forth in the capital and throughout Ukraine. But it's been clear from various accounts that whoever controls Kirkovik will pretty much have full control over the capital. Not Kirkovik, Kiev. Whoever has control of Kiev pretty much has a control over Ukraine. So, and the Ukrainian leadership's made it clear that they don't have that ability to maintain. They are fighting hard on the front lines in order to delay what they see as inevitable, which is Russian army taking control of the capital. We've seen, as you guys see, we lost light there. Yeah. So guys, as you can see, power has been hit. We lost power at two sites. Okay, we lost power. It looks like so. There has been targeted strikes towards energy producing areas and electrical companies. There was a target yesterday as well in the capital. So the big chunk of the city has been out of electricity for quite some time, and you can see now it seems like there was a recent disconnect of electricity as well, even in one of the areas where our camera is recording. So a lot that is happening right now on the front lines. We may not see that right now because it is closer to the middle of the city, but there's stuff happening on the front lines, and really at any moment it could spill out into a huge air fight. I think I've made it clear yesterday, and I will make it again, that whoever has control of the air will be the decision maker in terms of how the fight for the capital goes. And unfortunately for the Ukrainians and unfortunately for the Russian army, they don't have full control of the airspace over Kiev. They do have control over the airspace in the vast majority of Ukraine, but not over Kiev, because the Ukrainian army has made Kiev a high priority because it is where the leadership sits. Okay, so yeah, it looks like again electricity was cut off to one of the areas that we're viewing. But yeah, so it is clear that whoever takes control of Kiev will control the fate of this confrontation. So the vast majority of the Ukrainian military equipment sits in the capital, including their air resistance and their air defense systems. So Russian has not been able to take full control of the capital as a result. But I think now you will start to see more targeted attacks by the Russian force against the air defense systems, particularly the shipment that was sent by the United States. Those Sting missiles that are meant to target low altitude airplanes. We're talking about helicopters and drones and that sort of thing. So that will be significant to what happens over the next little while. Now, if Russian troops are able to take out the air defense system, it's a really big problem to the Ukrainians, and particularly the Ukrainian army. Without an air defense system, they are outnumbered and they will be outperformed. And the Russian military right now are not able to perform well because they have no view of what is happening on the ground. It's difficult to advance in a terrain that you have no clue what is in front of you. Earlier on we had tanks going into muddy. So that car that was just sitting there now is lights turned on. Okay, we're seeing some out of the ordinary movements in here. Okay, so we had tanks stuck in the mud. And that's because they're not familiar with the terrain and the ground sort of style. And imagine your entire army heads towards the direction and you have no visual above. And it's not their country, it's not their land. They're not aware of how things flow. So they need an eye on the ground. But once they have the eye on the ground, they will be able to advance more comfortably. Now there is a bit of a conclusion here I'm coming to. I think there's been a target towards these electrical outlets and electrical avenues because the cover of the night is a big advantage to the Russian forces. They have the equipment necessary in order to be able to advance at night, while the Ukrainian army doesn't have as big of an opportunity. Yeah, guys, we've lost power in a third site. So now it looks like the vast majority of Kiev is without power. Yeah. Okay, now we have flashing. Okay, what is that? There's a flashing light. You can see that in the left camera. Yeah. So the vast majority of Kiev right now is without electricity, guys. We just lost power on three of the sites. Yeah. No. There's no electricity at the vast majority of Kiev. I assume that means a strike has hit. As you guys can see, we've lost power. There's the vast majority of Kiev is without power right now. You can see that very clearly in the images, in the live stream, guys. No power to the vast majority of Kiev. Yeah, I assume there was an airstrike or some sort of target towards one of the electrical companies and the electrical outlets for the city. But the vast majority of the city right now is without power. This is bad. I imagine the Russian army, they like I said, the dark is to their advantage. So this is very bad. Yeah, a few hundred though for the Ukrainians is nothing compared to what is necessary. You have to remember, every soldier needs a night vision scope right now. So it's still a huge advantage to the Russian forces. Yeah. So yeah, Kiev was without power. Vast majority of Kiev. All right, guys, you're seeing the capital without power. Unfortunately, the vast majority of the capital right now has lost all power, and it's looking like that was a targeted attack by the Russian forces. I will see if I can find any more information for you guys. But right now, it looks like the vast majority of the capital, as evident by the stream that you're seeing right now in front of you, is without any power. We've lost power just in the last couple of minutes. If you have any news or any awareness of what is happening exactly, let us know. But yeah, we suddenly lost power within 5 minutes. Pretty much all three sites lost power. Very dark in the city. Guys, if you've not clicked the like button, for those of you that are joining new, please do that. It helps the stream out. But yeah, no power in the capital now right now. So, guys, Kiev is in the dark right now. There are reports of noodles sitting similar to Paris and London during the night bombing, and the Blitzcom strategy to hide targets from bombers in the dark. So, I mean, if this is insinuating or saying that maybe the Ukrainian side has shut off electricity, I have a hard time confirming or believing that 100% just because they shut off power to the vast majority of the city. And these are not military targets that you're looking at. This is a city center. So there's not much to hide. This is a civilian population that you're hiding. So I really think there was some targeted attack against electrical providing company. It's definitely not normal, and this is not what we had seen over the last couple of days. This was a set strategy by the Ukrainian army. It probably would have been utilized a bit earlier, but I do think there's something going on right now. Yeah, it's definitely it's not the normal that we're seeing. I think we're likely to see in the next little while, probably likely to see some airstrikes. We will see. We will see what happens, but. Yeah, definitely. This is the first time that we've seen this much loss of electricity in this much of the city. Definitely a new one to the capital. I'm not saying that they hadn't lost power, but to this degree, this is the first time that it appears to have been experienced. Guys, if you've not yet clicked the like button, please do that. If you've not shared the stream, please share it. And Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Really helps me out. You guys, Kiev is in the dark right now. Something's happening right now. I don't know what it is, but something out of the ordinary is happening in the city. Something that hasn't happened, that we haven't seen yet to this point. So I don't know what to tell you. What is specifically happening? You're seeing a lot of images for yourself, so you will see if something's specific or there's airstrikes. But definitely not the normal for the city at this time of the night. Pretty scary, kind of. I'm sure for the people of Kiev, not knowing what is going to happen, but something's happening in the city right now. It's not normal. Yeah, the amount of we're losing more power. It looks like they're losing more power by the minute. Right now, the vast majority of cities without power, and yeah, there's a lot of sounds in the background. You can hear probably the airplanes flying over, but no sirens. So something's going on. It's hard to tell what it is, but yeah, the city of Kiev is right now. There's something going on. If there's any updates, I will let you know, guys. Forcing your point to run out of night vision batteries is on the agenda. Part of war. Call for a unique solution to turn battle. My best is going over to learn Soviets. I want to say yes, I hope so, but I don't think that is what's happening right now. I really have a hard time thinking that is what's happening. I mean, it's possible. Everything is possible. All right, guys. If you've not shared it on your Twitters, your Facebooks, all of that, please do that. So you guys are seeing live images from the capital of Ukraine, from Kiev right now. where there's pretty much a loss of power all across the city. Vast majority of the city right now is without power. It's just all of a sudden. I'm not sure if it was. We didn't hear any explosions or specific airstrikes, but nearly the entire city of Kiev right now is without power. It was a surprise and a shock to the city. Now, normally at this time we get airstrikes and we hear the sirens, but this has not been the case. So I don't know if this is the targeted airstrike. So some people in the city are saying there's still power in parts of the city, but yet we can see that some parts of the city have power, but a lot less than before. A lot less than before. So the vast majority of the city, it looks like, has lost power. You guys are seeing it live on the stream right there. You can see the city's been, it looks like, pretty much out of power near its entirety. If you're new here, please click that like button. Let's spread this word. Let's spread the word and have as many people see what is going on the ground. So please click that like button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. Share the stream with your friends and family first. Obviously, those are the closest to you. And then share it on your Twitters and Facebooks and all that stuff. It really helps. And I really appreciate if you guys would do that. But yes, absolutely. Now it's a surprise. I mean, honestly, to be honest, we were used to, like I said, seeing airstrikes at this time, and hearing the sirens, but it's not been the case. But sudden loss of power across the city. Um, and some people are saying this could be from the Ukrainian side, sort of a war maneuver, but definitely not the ordinary that we've been seeing. And we're not talking just the outskirts of Kiev. This is talking about city center. Again, you guys are seeing live images from the capital of Ukraine, Kiev, as we suddenly lost power to the vast majority of the city. Again, still some areas of Kiev that still have power, has been confirmed by various people that we've connected with, but the vast majority of city has lost all power. If you have any additional information, we didn't hear any airstrikes, no sirens. You can see that live on the video. There's nothing that we noticed out of the ordinary happen, but we suddenly lost power to the vast majority of the city. You're talking about a city of nearly 3 million people. 3 million people. Guys, if you're new here and you have not clicked that like button, it really helps. Let's spread the word. Make sure as many people are aware of what is going on, and share this on your Twitters and Facebooks and with your friends and family. And those closest to you, obviously, are the most important. But spread it all over social media, and let's get as many people aware of what is happening on the ground. I'm trying to just give you guys the image, and you be the judge of on your own. But if there's any updated news, I'll let you know. I'll come back on and deliver it to you verbally.
Alright guys, we are back, and this time there's some crazy news that we have to really discuss. There is some breaking news for you guys, really breaking news to be honest as of now. We just got reports that one of the biggest airports have been struck by Russian forces in Ukraine. Ukraine's strike destroys Ukraine's airport, the Vinistia airport. And again, why is this being done? Interesting. This is all being done. Let's have a quick look. 1 second. There's so much breaking news right now that we just received basically all at once. Wow, as the battles really intensify. Ukrainian President, Zelensky says 8 rockets completely destroyed the international airport. We are back, guys, with some breaking news for you. Crazy news. Number 1, major blackout in Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, due to Russian attacks. That's number 1. Number 2 on those, guys, breaking news. One of the biggest international airports in Ukraine was now just hit by 8 rockets, completely flattening it out, destroying it, and now the airport is basically in existence, not in existence anymore. Again, this was an international airport used, for commercial, and it was at some point during this battle used for, fighter jets to really departure from there. Completely now obliterated, completely right now destroyed, and deemed, unused or unuseful for basically any means of anything, any airplane, anything. Again, this is a major attack hosted by the Russians, and again, this is what they were talking about when they're talking about completely flattening out. When you're talking 8 rockets, again, these are only 8 rockets. 8 rockets is nothing in comparison to the livestock or to the amounts of stock that live ammunition stock that they have. This is like a change in a bucket. Again, 8 rockets completely destroying Ukraine's biggest international airport, or one of Ukraine's biggest international airports. And this is what, Putin means, Vladimir Putin, when he talks about literally jeopardizing the entire statehood of Ukraine. When he comes out and says, Ukraine's statehood is at risk, what does that actually mean? That means he expects to literally demolish all of Ukraine, flatten it out the same way they're flattening the airport as of now. That's what that means.